Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn daily Tanya 4 Hey Elul Tafshin Pei Daled. So today we're going to start a new letter, a new portion of Gersa Kodesh. Let's get going. Yud Beis 12. והיה מעשה הצדקה שלום, ועבודת הצדקה השקט ובטח עד עולם. So we have a pasuk, so there's a lot of repetition in Tanakh. The way that a lot of pasukim, a lot of verses are set up is that there's a kind of a parallelism between the first half and the second half of the pasuk. Now, rather than just saying, okay, it's a parallelism, it's repeating the same thing twice for poetic effect or whatever, in Judaism, there's often a focus on what is different between each part of the verse. And so that's what we're going to focus on here, in a sort of typically rabbinic fashion. להבין ההפרש בין מעשה לעבודה ובין שלום להשקט ובטח. Okay, so what we're going to try to do is understand the difference between ma'aseh, like ma'aseh tzedakah, the work of tzedakah, la'avoda. Okay, so avoda can also mean work. So you could say ma'aseh might mean action, and avoda might mean work, or ma'aseh might mean work, and avoda might mean labor. We'd have to sort of understand these things deeper before we could properly translate them. Uvein shalom le'ashket v'vetach. And we need to understand the difference between peace and what one might call quiet and security. That might be the translation, although as things go on, we're going to adjust our understanding. So the way we're going to understand this is we're going to have to look at what Chazal say in another place, which you're going to notice is kind of the way that the rabbis of Chabad speak. In other words, you're going to try to understand a pasuk, and in order to understand that pasuk, you need to understand what Chazal say about another pasuk. So you might have picked up this theme already. So here goes. So to understand this pasuk, we need to understand another pasuk. A pasuk Mashamu Rabotenu Zichronam Livracha, about what the rabbi said. Al pasuk, about the pasuk Oseh Shalom Bimromav, he who makes peace in his heavens. Okay, so Chazal say about this, Ki Michael Sar Shel Mayim, because Michael, whatever you call him, is an angel of water, if you will. He's the prince of water. Okay, we're going to understand what that means in a minute. And Gabriel, Gabriel is the prince of fire. He's the angel of fire. And they don't put each other out because, fire can put out water. Water can, of course, water can put out fire, and fire can reduce water, right? It can cause it to evaporate. So what does this mean? Okay, when we say that Michael is a prince or a sar or a call it a principality, you call it an angel, however you wanna go about that. When we say he's of water, we mean he is of chesed. Chesed again is a sort of giving motion, the sort of spreading out motion, this giving of life. Hanikra b'shemayim, and this is called water, right? Because it spreads. Water, of course, spreads, but it spreads from a high place to a lower place naturally. והוא בחינת ההשפעה והתפשטות החיות מעולמות עליונים לתחתונים. Okay, and this is sort of this water. You could think about it as the flow of vital energy from the higher worlds to the lower worlds. ובחינת אש שתפעל לעלות למעלה. So on the other hand, right, Gabriel, he is the prince or the principality of fire. Right, what does that mean? That its nature is to go up. Its nature is to sort of reach up towards heavens. Not to come down, but to reach up. So it's the sort of the moving of life not from the higher to the lower, but from the lower up to the higher. Right? So that the life that is shown here in the lower world is reduced and it sort of goes up. And these are, of course, opposite traits. right? So they're opposite traits when looked at in isolation and when not brought in together as part of a greater unity. So I haven't read tomorrow's portion. I'm with you guys, but he talks about this a lot about Hiskalus, about how these sort of opposite, seemingly opposite traits or things that are opposite by their own nature are brought together in a sort of higher um, it's kind of lifted up to like a higher perspective, a higher understanding where these things can be seen as part of a greater whole. So that's all for today, and we'll learn more tomorrow. Take care.